Hello everybody, I have a couple big analysis videos in the works, but to tide you over, I have some movies to review and cover over the next few weeks, so let's talk about them. One film I saw recently was Where The Crawdads Sing. This film is a murder mystery story based on the insanely successful 2018 novel of the same name by Delia Owens. To put it simply, it's about a marsh girl named Kaya who has been charged for the murder of a boy named Chase Andrews. Someone she was quite close to who coincidentally died close to her own marsh home within a single-digit mile radius. As the court proceedings commence, we are told Kaya's life story through flashbacks. These cover her abusive parental upbringing, the life she lives in solitude, and the relationship she has along the way. I've seen a lot of critics online bashing this movie quite hard, but I don't know, I kinda like this one. Crawdads isn't an amazing film, but for what it sets out to be, it's a decent enough romance film with good performances and a just gripping enough hook for its story. Most of my issues with this film arise mainly from its story structure and pacing. Despite this being hailed as a murder mystery, for a good chunk of this film you'd be fooled into thinking this isn't. This film has more in line with a romantic Nicholas Sparks book. With how the flashbacks presented in this film take up most of its runtime, it's easy to forget that the main conflict here is Kaya being charged for first-degree murder. It might not be the biggest deal breaker because the flashbacks themselves are decently acted and compelling, but it does bloat the runtime and make the main storyline here kind of skewed. The cast here is pretty good too. Daisy Edgar Jones has become a pretty exciting new talent if Fresh was anything to go by, and it's no different here. She plays Kaya with a unique innocence and sincerity that makes her very sympathetic. I could complain how for a marsh girl she looks weirdly well dressed and clean, but I digress. The rest here are just sort of okay. Taylor John Smith and Harris Dickinson are perfectly okay supporting leads that act as love interests for Kaya, but not really much else. It's also a very pretty film, with the cinematography here being very bold and stunning when it's allowed to. Some of the wide shots on the marsh are particularly strong. I don't really have much to say about this film. It's just a very sweet, sometimes intense, but an ultimately alright watch. It's kinda flimsy and poorly structured on the whole, but it's saved by its presentation and performances. I'm giving it a 6 out of 10. Not the absolute best thing in the world, but it's not a bad thing to give a try whenever you get the chance. I'm glad I saw it. I also saw the newest Netflix joint, The Grey Man, and it was really boring. I decided to give this a watch for two reasons. Firstly, because this is a Russo Brothers project, the guys who brought us Avengers Infinity War and Endgame, and secondly, because of its budget. This is not some small Netflix project made to fill up their library for the week. The Grey Man is a big spy espionage film with an all-star cast and a budget of $200 million. Chicken! I mean, Jesus Christ. Now, I have some mixed feelings on the Russos as a whole. I really enjoy their Marvel films, but I think that's more on their scripts being solid rather than their direction. And their 2021 film for Apple TV, Cherry, wasn't very good. But then again, I was willing to give this one the benefit of the doubt, and I thought it was just kinda bleh. The Grey Man has a solid and fun plot on paper. It's a film about a CIA agent on the run from his own superior after he discovers some dark, corrupt secrets. Now that sounds kind of engaging and fun, kinda like America's answer to James Bond. But unlike James Bond, which has some enjoyable characters and really impressive action, The Grey Man feels like the most cliched and generic script imaginable that makes for such a nothing experience. I'm gonna start off with the one major positive I do have about this film, and that is Chris Evans as the villain. He's commissioned to take down the protagonist throughout the film, and he kinda feels like the only one really trying here. He's hamming it up in almost every single scene he's in, and he can be legitimately funny to watch. Seeing him spout some really stupid dialogue but playing it kinda straight is a weird joy. He did a great job.
Forget about the Vicodin.
Why are you walking like that?
Because I got shot in the ass, Suzanne!
Everything else is just very forgettable and bland. This movie was honestly kind of painful in retrospect. Ryan Gosling and Ana de Armas, two very talented actors, are weirdly weak in this film and such blank slates. They barely have any character outside of their own unique backgrounds and nothing much else really. The action can sometimes be kind of impressive, but on the other hand they can also have really terrible CGI compositing that completely takes you out of the immersion. The directing can be really obnoxious at points, with the amount of drone shots present really taking the piss. Like, this movie really likes to use fast-moving drone shots to establish pretty much every location in the film, and it's very distracting and annoying. It felt very much like the annoying direction and style present in Michael Bay films, and when you have me quote and compare his work, you're clearly doing something wrong. I dunno man, it's not the worst thing in the world. It's fairly well made and there's a couple of fun moments to be had, but much like a dodgy hamburger, it just goes straight through you and you forget about it once it's over. Considering the cast, the money and the directors behind this, it should have been a much more ambitious and engaging project, but it just isn't. The Grey Man just feels like another nothing project that will be on Netflix's homepage for like 1 week and then just be lost in a barrage of other forgettable content on their service. It's going to be forgotten about within a month tops, and by the time I post this video, I will have had it erased from my brain with a Men in Black neuralizer. I'm giving it a 4 out of 10. Check it out if you're curious, it's not horrible, but it was an absolute slog to get through. Alright, thank you very much everybody, and have yourselves a fantastic day.